Fascism. You might have read about fascism in your history textbooks. You might have also read about fascist leaders such as Hitler from Nazi Germany and Mussolini from Italy. They created a huge chaos with their fascist regime. We are not going to talk about these people, but we are going to talk about the characteristics of fascism. So let's get started and let's keep it simple, silly. Number 1. Power and continuing nationalism. Fascist regimes tend to make constant use of patriotic mottos, slogans, symbols, songs, and other paraphernalia. Flags are seen everywhere, as are flags symbols on clothing and in public display. Number 2. Disdain for the recognition of human rights. Because of fear of enemies and the need for security, the people in fascist regime are persuaded that human rights can be ignored in certain cases because of need. The people tend to look the other way, or even approve of torture, summary execution, assassinations, long incarcerations of prisoners, etc. Number 3. Identification of enemies or scapegoats as a unifying cause. The people are rallied into a unifying patriotic frenzy over the need to eliminate a perceived common threat or foe, such as racial, ethnic, or religious minorities, liberals, communists, socialists, etc. Number 4. Supremacy of the military. Even when there are widespread domestic problems, the military is given a disproportionate amount of government funding, and the domestic agenda is neglected. Soldiers and military services are glamorized. Number 5. Rampant sexism. The governments of fascist nations tend to be almost exclusively male-dominated. Under fascist regimes, traditional gender roles are made more rigid. Opposition to abortion is high, as is homophobia and anti-gay legislation and national policy. Number 6. Controlled mass media. Sometimes the media is directly controlled by the government, but in other cases the media is indirectly controlled by the government regulations or sympathetic media spokesperson and executives. Censorship, especially in wartime, is very common. Number 7. Obsession with national security. Fear is used as a motivational tool by the government over the masses. Number 8. Religion and government are intertwined. Governments in fascist nations tend to use the most common religion in the nation as a tool to manipulate public opinion. Religious rhetoric and terminology is common from government leaders, even when the major tenets of the religion are diametrically opposed to the government's policies and actions. Number 9. Corporate power is protected. The industrial and business atrocity of a fascist nation often are the ones who put the government leaders into power, creating a mutually beneficial business-government relationship and power elite. Number 10. Labor power is suppressed. Because the organizing power of labor is the only real threat to a fascist government, labor unions are either eliminated entirely or are severely suppressed. Number 11. Disdain for intellectuals and the arts. Fascist nations tend to promote and tolerate open hostility to higher education and academia. It is not uncommon for professors and other academics to be censored or even arrested. Free expression in the arts is openly attacked, and the governments often refuse to fund the arts. Number 12. Obsession with crime and punishment. Under fascist regime, the police are given almost limitless power to enforce laws. The people are often willing to overlook police abuses and even forego civil liberties in the name of patriotism. There is often a national police force with virtually unlimited power in fascist nations. Number 13. Rampant cronyism and corruption. Fascist regimes almost always are governed by the group of friends and associates who appoint each other to government position and use governmental power and authority to protect their friends from accountability. It is not uncommon in fascist regime for national resources and even treasures to be appropriated or even outright stolen by government leaders. Number 14. Fraudulent election. Sometimes elections in fascist nations are a complete sham. Other times elections are manipulated by smear campaign against or even assassination of opposition candidates. Use of legislation to control voting numbers or political district boundaries and manipulation of the media. Fascist nations also typically use their judiciaries to manipulate or control elections. And that's all. Those were the 14 characteristics of fascism. What do you think? How many of these characteristics are you observing in your nation? Let me know in comments, and thank you very much for watching.